Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Lorenz from the East Grand Forks Campbell Library, and today I'm going to show you how to make macrame bracelets that might look a little something like this. So macrame is a textile art that is, instead of weaving or knitting, it's about knotting. So we're going to do lots of knotting. So you can do this with bamboo cord, that's what I have here, and that's what's available in your kits. Or you can also do this with paracord and make paracord bracelets as well. So let's take a look at what we need for supplies. All right, so let's talk about supplies. In your kit, you receive two 5-foot lengths of cord. And these are bamboo cord. You can also use hemp cord as well. And a button. Your button may look like this, or you may have a shank button that looks like this, where it's got one loop on the back. It doesn't matter what kind your button is, any button will work. You may also want some tape, a ruler, and a scissors. So to start with, we're going to open up our pieces of cord. You should be able to just slide the bands off of them and kind of open them up, make sure that they're not tangled. You want to match up the two of the ends so they are right next to each other, and this is where we're going to need our ruler. So we're going to straighten out our cord and we're going to measure 1 foot. So this is going to be the beginning of the width of our bracelet. So if you think that you need your bracelet to be longer than 1 foot, measuring around your wrist, because you will need some extra both for the buttonhole and to tie the button off at the end. Make sure you measure a little bit longer. So I think I can get by with 1 foot based on some previous samples that I've made. So I'm going to hold my cord here where I've marked it, and I'm going to fold it in half around my finger. So I have 2 short ends and 2 long ends. And I'm just going to go ahead and make an overhand knot. You do want to make sure that your knot is that your loops are going to be big enough for your button to slip through. You don't want it too much bigger than your button, otherwise it might slip off. So I'm going to actually make my hole a little bit smaller, and I'm just going to tie an overhand knot. So I'm going to loop the cords around my fingers. You can see that I've got one on top of the other. Pull the loops through and tighten the knot. All right. So to start doing our macrame, our knotting, I believe it is called, I'm going to tape my cords down. You can also use a clipboard or a binder clip and tape that down as well. I'm just going to use some Scotch tape, and this works pretty well. You just can't pull too hard when you are tightening your knots. So we're going to separate our cords into the long strands. We want the 2 long strands on the outside and the 2 short strands on the inside. So these are going to make up the inside of our bracelet, and these 2 long cords are what we're going to use to do the knotting. And I'm going to actually flip them around just because it looks a little bit better to me the way that the knot comes out. So we're going to make 2 knots with one color and then 2 knots with the other color. And you want to keep your 2 colors separate, one on one side and one on the other side, because that's how you're going to knot down. So our bracelets are going to end up being flat, like this. You can see here that they are flat. So we want to make sure we have the right cord on the right side. So it doesn't matter which one, as long as you have one on one side and one on the other side. So I'm going to start with the blue because I'm right-handed. You can start with either color. This one just works easier for me. I'm going to pull my cord behind these 2 cords. So here it is, you can see behind. And then I'm going to pull this over the top. And then I'm going to push it through and pull it all the way through. So there is a little bit closer look at the loop. It goes behind the 2 strings, and then over top and through. I'm going to go ahead and pull that to the top and tighten it. So for the second knot, we're going to do that reverse. So we're going to put the long string on top, over top of the 2 small strings, the 2 short strings, underneath and through. And tighten it up again. All right, so we're ready to switch to our other color. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And once you get these steps down, that's all you're going to do. We're going to repeat it until our bracelet is the correct length. Or keychain. You can make this into a keychain or a necklace or a little doodah, whatever you would like to make it. So we're going to go behind the 2 threads, over and through. I'm going to tighten it up. And then we're going to do the same thing but in reverse. So we're going to go over the top of the 2 cords, underneath, and through. And tighten it up. All right, so that's a start. I'm gonna do a couple more and you can just watch. All right. So underneath, over and through. You can push your knots up a little bit too on your cord. It might make it they might look a little bit better when you push them up. So this one was over, under and through. And onto the other side. Under, over and through. And over, under and through. I don't do as good on the left hand. Not my dominant hand, you might be able to tell. All right, so those are the steps. Go ahead and keep going. So I have my cord to length. I have taken it off of the table and measured it around my wrist. And the buttonhole is as long as, so it'll be a little bit looser. So you may want to do this periodically when you are getting close to the end. Take it off, measure it, make sure it's the right size. So this is the right size length for me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my buttons on. So I have a plain regular button with 4 holes in it, and so I'm just going to put my cord into I'm going to put all of my cords into all 4 holes of my button. If you have 2 cord, or if you only have 2 holes, what you can do is you can put your 2 main cords, the 2 that we've been knotting around, these 2 right here, into your button and tie off and knot the ends. So I would maybe tie them together one time, and you can put a little bit of super glue on that to make it super glue or craft glue to make those stick a little bit better. Oh, this one's getting all tangled up. Okay. Oops. Okay, neither my blue or my red cord is gonna go through, so I'm gonna show you this method instead. So I'm gonna tie these off. I'm just gonna tie them into 2 overhand knots, so one over the other, and one over the other. And so it is a double knot, and I would just clip those off. I'm going to keep them on for demonstration purposes later, but so we'll just put our button down on the end. We do the same thing with these, tie them once in a knot and twice. Make your knots tight, and then you can tie and cut them off, and then you should be able to put your bracelet on.